Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to give you advice on how to boost your hormonal profile. It's something that has been quite requested on the channel, especially on the TRT video I made, because in this video I said that TRT was just the easy way out and that it was a cop-out and that you should be handling your responsibilities and actually taking care of your body, and you needed to make your body more anabolic instead of injecting anabolics. And a lot of people had questions. And before I start, I want to say that this is not going to be anything revolutionary. It's not a hack. It's not something that's going to work in 2 weeks. I'm just going to give you basic things to do in everyday life so that over time you can restore your body for the way it should be like. And I say that why? I say that because for the mass majority of people, the people who have a poor hormonal profile, the people who have low testosterone, who have a tough time building muscle, who have a tough time recovering, it's something they've done to themselves. It's self-inflicted. Get out of your head the idea that we just so happen to be the first generation that suffers massive hormonal problems. We are, in a sense, but it's not anything that fate just dictated upon us. It's our lifestyles that made it so. And so I'm going to help you go back to the way things should be. Because as a male and as a woman as well, your body is going to naturally produce certain hormones. And for males, of course, we're going to produce much more testosterone. And that's the way it is. As you evolve as a man, as you grow older, it's natural. It's a natural production. That being said, you can hinder that production. So for the most part, the advice I'm going to give you today is not really going to be to tell you to do anything special. Rather, I'm going to be telling you to stop doing certain things because these things are hurting you. And for the most part, you already know it, but you need someone to let you know, someone who's made those mistakes, because I was like you. I was someone who, at first glance, looked like he had poor hormonal profile, that I was never going to be jacked, and look at me now. And nothing happened, nothing major happened. I didn't discover the secret formula. I just did things that made my body feel better, and over time they compounded. So that's what I want to pass down to you today so that you can start. But I want you to be patient. It's not going to be in a day. And the reason why it's not going to be in a day is because you've damaged your body for years and years and years. And the fix is going to take just as long, if not longer, than the illness. So, in terms of things to do to improve the hormonal profile, I made a full video about training. And the reason why is because a body that is trained is a body that is going to become more anabolic over time. It just is logical. As you damage the body doesn't want to snap, and therefore it's going to reinforce itself. That is supracompensation. But the supracompensation is not just biological and physiological, it's also hormonal. To aid the muscle recovery, the body has to boost the test levels, which is why lifting weights and resistance training boost testosterone levels. Is it going to be insane, and is it going to result in peaks of test within 2 weeks? No, it's gradual, it's very slow, just like muscle building. Guess why? They go hand in hand. As you damage the muscle, the environment of the body reinforces itself to allow for more protein synthesis to be able to rebuild the muscle as it grows. That's the way it goes. So you need to be training. If you watch that video and you think you're going to fix yourself with certain easy hacks without sweating, guess what? Not gonna work. Because the skeleton and the spine of everything I'm going to tell you right now is training. Training is the most important thing to build muscle. I shouldn't even have to say that, but it also is the most important thing to have a healthy hormonal profile. Look at men who manage to stay relatively active in their 60s and 70s. Are they couch potatoes? No, they're active males that have always been active. So stay active, train. That out of the way, I'm going to focus on more of the lifestyle habits that you have to develop. First off, you're going to go out and take the sun. You spend way too long inside on your phone, on the laptop. The blue screen on the laptop does not constitute sunlight. You need to go out and take that sun. I live in a place where there is no sun for 8 months a year. I still manage to get those slight glimpses of sunbeams. And I manage to build muscle that way. Most likely you live in a country with a lot of sun. Take that sun, go outside, let it hit your skin for 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. That's enough, that's what you need. And that is going to go hand in hand with also the fact that you need to be mobile. The more stationary you are, the more you encourage the body to stay stationary. The more muscle pains you're going to have, the more tendon pains you're going to have, and the more of a degenerative lifestyle you're going to start to lead. You need to move around, even outside of the gym. Try and walk 40 minutes, 50 minutes, walk around. If you have the choice between taking the car to go grocery shopping or going by yourself and carrying the groceries, go and carry the groceries. It's not going to kill you once in a while. You need to stay in that habit. A lot of people, me included back in the days, are going to take for granted the fact that just lifting is enough. But it's not enough. Unless you have another component that keeps you active, you're just doing resistance training. You need something besides that. So you need to find that one thing that also is going to keep your heart pumping. That also is sort of related to training. Let's talk now about water, because people had asked me on the TRT video what I have against tap water. What I have against it is that it's public water and it's full of toxins. It's full of all of the stuff that people put down their drains that now you're drinking, because I can tell you that their systems of filtrations barely filtrate anything. They filtrate the things that would kill you and get them sued. But for the rest, all of the hormones are in there. You have all of the toxins that are not filtrated because they're not going to kill you immediately, so they don't care. You need to find a way to filter your own water if you're going to drink it from the tap. And it can be a water filter system. Those are dirt cheap and are fairly effective. If you have more money, a reverse osmosis system is even better. The issue with these two is that they can also tend to filter minerals that are in the water. Let me say that minerals to be found in tap water are already quite inexistent. To start with, you need to supplement your mineral intake. You can do that with good diet. If you cannot get your hands on good food where you are, you need to get mineral supplements. I cannot really help you with that because I get all of my minerals from my diet, but you can research it, it's out there. In terms of things you ingest, water, your body is 70% water. Okay, so if you might think it's not much, but you've been drinking tap water for years, ever since you were a baby if your parents weren't paying attention, and guess what? It accumulates in you. Those are toxins, and those are toxins that are not helping your body being anabolic. Quite the opposite. As I explained, this is going to be a battle against things that prevent your body from doing what it's supposed to be. Because for the people who train hard and see no result, might just be that your body doesn't have the resources to help you grow. It's already so busy fighting all of the other stuff that it's not going to prioritize muscle building, and that makes total sense. So you need to cleanse yourself. I'm personally an advocate for food of a whole foods diet. And when I say that, people usually say, what does that even mean? And I understand why they say that is because it's so complex nowadays. No one really knows what whole food is, what is processed food. I'm going to give you a very clear definition. Processed food is any food that was prepared for you, meaning that it's already ready to be eaten. That's processed food. Does it mean it's bad? No, not necessarily. I mean, someone cuts an apple for you, it's processed food. Is it bad for you? No. That being said, you will find that the more steps making the food, the more steps it took to make the food that you're going to eat, the worse it is, because the less amount of steps you were involved in, and for each step comes a different thing added to the food. So if something took 15 steps to be made, you can think that there are potentially 15 toxins in that. And the issue is that those foods tend to be quick to make, and that's the reason why people eat them, because they're lazy. Ditch the laziness. Make your own food. When you consume something, you made it from scratch. And I say that to say that you need to eat whole food. What is a whole food? It's a food that's never been processed, meaning that it's going to be processed by you from A to Z. So if you get a piece of beef, okay, and it's natural beef, meaning that you try to get the highest quality you can. Some people would say, well, there's already antibiotics and that in there, and the butcher already cut it for you. So in a sense, yes, it's processed, but the butcher didn't sprinkle anything on the beef when he cut it. So you have your piece of meat and you cook it. So now you decided how it's cooked. You decided how much salt you put, what type of condiments you put on it. This is my preferred method of eating. That's what I eat most of the time. If I eat something, I made it. And then there are certain things that I prioritize when it comes to cooking. I like to use the oven. I try to stay away from the microwave. I don't have a reason for that. Some people will tell you studies about it being bad or causing cancer. All I know is I used to use the microwave all the time, and when I transitioned into cooking things with my pans or oven, my body composition improved and my hormonal profile seemed to improve. So that's also what I'm going to tell you to do. Stay away from these things. Whole foods. If you can buy and try to find organic food, buy organic food. Find things that are not covered in pesticides. I know if you live in a big city, it's tough. You've been sabotaged from the get-go, but you need to try. If you need to work 5 hours overtime to be able to afford the good food, do it. It's worth it. It's for your health. It's for your hormonal profile. And if you live on the countryside, please do yourself a favor. Don't go to the supermarket. Try and look at local stores, local farms that are going to sell you very good products for a cheaper price that are going to be extremely good for you. So that is comprised in the things you put in your body. And you might think again, well, I mean, okay, but how is that going to make a big difference? Are you kidding me? You eat 3 times a day. You consume pounds and pounds and pounds of food. All of that is immensely important for your hormonal profile. Because again, if you keep eating stuff out of boxes that you stuff in the microwave, you don't even know what you're eating. And keep in mind that those industrials that sell you that food, they want you to keep buying that food. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna make sure it tastes as good as possible, as long as they stay within the laws of the country, which again, they don't care about your health. They're going to keep doing it. So if an ingredient is potentially dangerous but tastes really good and gets you addicted, guess what? They're going to put it everywhere. And you're going to eat more and more of their garbage. And it's a vicious circle. Because even if your macros and everything is on point, if the quality of the food you consume is not, it's going to destroy your hormonal profile. And again, I didn't say it because it's obvious, but why do we want to optimize hormonal profile? To build muscle, to recover faster, but also for our mental health. Because if your hormonal profile is out of whack and you don't produce the right hormones, guess what? You're going to be depressed, anxious, aggressive all the time, miserable. Why? Because your brain chemistry is affected by what you eat. And what you eat is going to also encompass the way your hormonal profile functions. So you have to pay attention to that. And for the last thing, I'm going to mention sleep and overall environment. In terms of sleep, I made a full video about how to sleep better. I suggest you check it out. You need to sleep. Stop sleeping 6 hours when you know you need 8. You need to sleep as much as you can. This is how you recover. It's one of the most important aspects of recovery. And recovery is what's going to allow you to up frequency, muscle damage, and get bigger over time. So you need to sleep. If you don't sleep, it's the equivalent of quitting the workout halfway through and thinking you're still going to get the benefits of the other half. Not gonna work. So get your butt to bed, stop bringing laptops and phones, close your eyes and sleep. I encourage you when you can to not have an alarm. Let your body recover as much as it wants. That's super important. But again, for the newest generations, that might not be obvious. So you need someone to tell you sleep is key for hormonal profile. And then the overall environment. And these are the things that are going to be the least in your control. But when it comes to building an anabolic profile, you will want to be in an environment where you can be anabolic, where you get to be. And of course, I understand that some people live in big cities that all of the things already listed are going to be greatly compromised because it's out of your control. You want to be as much in control as possible. So all of the tiny things you can do to make sure that you actually push back all of the negative and the toxicity, you need to do. Even if it's a little bit, that's still okay, that's still a lot. And I'm going to say, and that might be a little bit counterintuitive, that if you're going to implement the advice and tips that I just gave you, do it step by step. Not necessarily because if you just remove all of the toxins at once, your body is going to go into shock, although I would think that you might potentially suffer from some side effects of it, because your body is going to fight back. And that's sort of the issue is, even though it's bad for your hormonal profile, all of the junk food, the bad water, your body is used to it now. And so it's going to cling to it. And it might fight back in terms of psychological warfare, in terms of acne or just general nastiness. You're going to feel bad. So you want to take it slow. Why? Because this is for the rest of your life. Look at me. I eat whole foods only. I'm not going to go back to eating junk foods. I used to eat junk foods. I used to use at fast foods all the time. I used to eat pasta boxes, those creatures of the demon that I stuffed in my face. I'm not going to go back to that. Now it's whole foods for the rest of my life. It's clean water for the rest of my life and training for the rest of my life. But it took me a while to get there. As I just said, when I was 15, it was fast food every Friday. It was just video games all the time. I'm not saying video games are bad, but don't spend 5 hours on them. Okay, they're a mechanism of escapism, and they're making you okay with achieving virtual things instead of in real life. I will make videos about video games, but try and stay away. This is also not the greatest for your hormonal profile. All of that to say what? Takes a long time. Okay, it's patience. Your hormonal profile will improve. You're a male, it's supposed to improve. If you're a female, your estrogen production, your test production as well will improve. You just need to stay away from everything that sabotages it. And it's up to you. It's about willpower. You have the power to say no to these things, to push them. You have the power to say, I want to train. Today is the day where I train. I'm not going to skip. I'm training. I don't want to hang out. It's time to actually boost my body. Because if you keep doing that, you're going to put some little building blocks, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Guess what? At the end of the day, it's a castle. Okay? And that advice that I'm giving you right now, if you start applying it today, in 5, 10 years, you'll see the results. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.